And there. Good morning, everyone. It's a very early morning for some, because I know that internationally it's around about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, but it's 10 o'clock here in the UK. And I'm Gill Fountain. I am the owner of Building Tomorrow Today. And today we have got Yvonne Dodd with us. Hello, Yvonne. Yvonne is an NLP motivational and self-development coach. Now, how did I meet? I met Yvonne through, actually, strangely, another member of ours in the group, who you will see now and then. Ralph Watson is one of our few gentlemen in the group, because I'm very picky about who we let into the group. And Ralph, master coach, international speaker, the whole works. And I believe, Yvonne, you trained with Ralph. Am I right?
Absolutely, yes. It was an amazing experience, and anyone that wants to go and do the NLP training, I would recommend them to go to Ralph, because he was so good. You know, his sense of humour, the way he delivers things, he's quite relaxed. You know, I think people often think that, you know, when you're doing training online, how's that going to work? But it actually worked beautifully, and we all really benefited and enjoyed the course. So yeah, it was really good.
I know I've met a few other members as well of the other students. Can I call you students? I don't know. Anyway, the other people that he's trained along the way, and I'm beginning to, that circle is widening, shall we just say. We had and I'm not sure if you were there last night, but we did a training last night to a particular coaching for the coaching site, and 96 people turned up. No, 96 people signed up for that training. Isn't that marvelous? Isn't that great?
It's really good, really good.
Yeah. Now you live in Fife.
I do. I live in Fife. So I am somewhere between Edinburgh and St Andrews. So I'm very lucky to be where I am. It's a beautiful place.
It is an amazing, the scenery is amazing, isn't it? It's just and the air. Now, you probably won't appreciate this, but I live down south, and you know, the town that I live in is not a manufacturing, it's not pollution or anything. However, I know that as I travel up through the country and then go into Scotland and into the Lowland, I'm thinking about going through Glasgow and then going up through to Loch Lomond, that area I know well, the air seems to change, and the skies seem higher. I don't know what it is, I really don't, but we've done it quite often, and it's the views that you get are amazing, but the sky seems it doesn't seem so low. So I don't know what it is, but it is beautiful up around that area.
It is. There's some beautiful places, and I think we were talking the other day about, you know, quite often we don't always see the country that we live in, and I've seen quite a lot of Scotland, but a couple of years ago I decided to do the North Coast 500. Anyone that wants tips or advice on it, yeah, I'm quite welcome. I'm quite willing to share that. I would recommend anybody to do that, because you'll really see some beautiful parts of Scotland, quite stunning views. So I'm glad I did that.
That was when is that a well-known route that you take?
Yeah. So the North Coast 500 starts at Inverness. I planned the whole route, so I went up I'm saying it starts at Inverness. Inverness is part of it, but it kind of goes right up round the east or the west, whatever way you're starting. I decided to start on the east coast because the west has got the most beautiful views. So I thought I'll keep the best till last, and that's how I did it.
Wow.
But yes, it was. I mean, you can drive round a corner and just be met with the most stunning of views, and the amount of times that happened during the trip was just incredible.
Yeah.
Just you know, beautiful white beaches. It looks like something out of the Caribbean. If you get the good weather, yeah, that's a problem with Scotland. You're not always going to get the good weather.
I've been up in Scotland when it's been pouring with rain in June or July or something, and equally it's been brilliant sunshine, so you just never do know. But I do know what you mean about the scenery up there. We were up in the Highland Park, just amazing. And then we travelled just around that vicinity of Loch Lomond. We were north of Glasgow, really. Didn't go up much further that day, but that holiday, but we did go to Inverness when the children were tiny, and we got to Glasgow and we said, oh, half an hour, we'll be there now. It's not, is it? It's such a long distance between. We didn't think we were ever going to get there. We ended up in Inverness. It's a different world. It is beautiful around that area.
Absolutely gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. But then there's some beautiful places in England as well. I've been to loads of places in England, and there's some stunning places.
Yeah, we are lucky, aren't we, with the scenery that we've got, and all within a relatively short space of time. I was talking to Melissa on Monday, and she's in North Carolina, in Charlotte, and I was asking her the different areas, because I said, oh, I know some people in North Carolina. I know so and so in this town, and she, oh, that's 4 hours away. That's half our country.
America is my sister lived in Louisiana for a while, a good few years ago. But yeah, I've been to America a few times, and I remember visiting friends, and they were like, we're just dropping my daughter off, and they were from Scotland, so they were used to what it was like in Scotland. They were just dropping my daughter off at a friend's house. It's not far away. Half an hour later, now if that was here, it would probably take me 5 or 10 minutes at most, because it's so local, and they're likely to be living in a vicinity that someone that they go to school with. Half an hour drive was to get to them. Nothing to them.
Yeah, no, it isn't. It really isn't. Now, we're all in different types of lockdown and isolation across the world, and it does vary. And I know for the people that I am talking to in the States, it varies from state to state, or it was varying from state to state. I don't know if things changed from last week, but certainly in this country, it was varying from county to county or region to region. But now we are in quite a heavy lockdown, in actual fact. And there are people in isolation or shielding, self-isolating, whatever it is. Have you got any sort of valuable tips that you can give people that are, or have got relatives that maybe we've got parents, for instance, that we could help them with?
Yes, yeah. There are a number of things that you can do. And I think for me, a lot of what it is about changing your mindset and strengthening your mindset. And I think at the moment, it is incredibly difficult for people for all sorts of reasons. We've got people who are working at home that are trying to homeschool children. They're trying to, their husbands maybe working in the same environment. They're maybe not got a lot of room. It maybe feels cramped. There's no escape. We're not teachers. There are people that live alone. There's single parents. There are people that are ill. So yeah, it's absolutely difficult for everybody. I certainly acknowledge that. And I think it's really important at this time that people can use strategies and techniques that will really, really help them. So one of the things I would probably start off with is trying to avoid any kind of negativity that you can, because when you feed your mind with negativity, that's when it makes it worse. So often the mindset can be triggered by things that have happened in our past. There are people, I suppose, that had mental health issues to begin with, and this is making it 10 times worse. There are people who didn't actually have mental health issues, but now this is created, and my fear is that we're going to come out of this with a lot of issues, people with mental health issues. So what I would say to begin with is try and avoid negativity wherever you can. If you're listening to the news all the time, and I'm very well aware that people want to listen to the news because they want to know what's happening, but I'm also aware that the news can breed negativity, and often when we're listening to the news all the time, we're only hearing the negative things that are happening. Now, there are a lot of awful things happening. There are a lot of people dying. It's terrible for families. It's terrible for people. But the more you listen to that, the more it feeds into the negativity and creates more anxiety. So I would say try to avoid negativity wherever you can. Raise your energy levels, raise your vibration wherever you can. If you feel down, put on some of your favourite music, raise your energy level. So on the emotional scale could be fear, anger, jealousy, all that kind of thing. What we need to do is raise the energy level so that we can get to a place that we feel we're getting the positive emotions going through our body and through our brain. And if you put on music and dance or sing, it's amazing how the energy levels can be raised. That's an instant good technique to raise those energy levels. And I know that's easier said than done for some people, but try it. It works, and it can raise energy levels very, very quickly. The other thing is, if you can practice positivity first thing in the morning. So often when we wake up in the morning, we have negative thoughts. If you could put something into place first thing in the morning, it's amazing how your day can be very, very positive. So if you start thinking positive thoughts, if you use mantras or affirmations, something that really means something to you, even looking in the mirror, and I know that sounds a bit strange, and for some people it could be a bit like, what, talking to myself in the mirror.
It would be for me.
No, I know, it is. It's strange, but I tell you, it's amazing how powerful and effective that can be. Talking to yourself, I'm wonderful, I'm amazing, I'm going to have a great day. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, that's fine. You can just say those things because your subconscious doesn't know any different. If you're feeding your mind with positive words and thoughts,
You've sort of fooled your mind. Is that it? You even though you may feel a little bit down, if you say them, you're actually fooling your subconsciousness. Is that right?
Absolutely are.
Oh,
And you're strengthening your mindset. And often, like I say, there's triggers, and often some things are triggered that may happen in this current time. That people have experienced trauma or difficulties in their life, and this situation is that they're thinking more, the negative thoughts are creeping in. And if you can strengthen your mindset, your brain is it's neuroplasticity, so you can actually change your brain waves to go a different direction. So you may think, this is me, this is the way I think, this is me, this is my identity, but that's not the case. And often in childhood, we're told certain things. A powerful thing you can do is ask yourself, if you hear somebody saying something, is that the truth? Because often what we hear is not necessarily the truth. And that can go back to childhood. It can go back to people you're speaking to at the moment. It can go to the news. It could go to what we're reading. Is that the truth? And do your own research.
So we have been almost trained into looking for scammers, and this is something a little bit. So as emails are coming in, we are looking for people that are trying to scam us. Or when we pick the phone up, I don't know about everybody, but when I pick the phone up and there's a no ID number there or anything, I automatically now look for, I'm listening to see if this is a hoax phone call in the sense that we all receive them. There's no getting away with it. There's nobody out there that I know that have found a way of actually stopping these unless they've got a bar on their phone. But you're saying that this is what your brain should be doing anyway, and you should be saying to what you're seeing on the news, what you're reading in the paper, is this actually true? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. And I'm not saying that the news isn't factual, but sometimes we need to do our own research. And that's not about conspiracy theories or anything like that. It's just about finding out the facts for yourself, learning for yourself, and just protecting yourself and making sure that you're protecting yourself and others around you as well and keeping as safe as possible. It's very important that we continue to do that.
Yeah.
And so there's so many things that you can do, and it's about creating habits. You know, we can all use this time effectively. Why not put this time that we have at home to do something, maybe learn something new? You know, if there's something that you've wanted to learn, there's lots of online courses. You can go into YouTube and listen to it. There's all sorts of things. You can access anything that you want online these days.
Yeah.
You know, watch a good comedy, something that's fun.
I was going to say, I was actually going to bring that up because I know, for instance, and I do as well, but my father loves sport. Thank goodness he loves sport. But he also likes the old movies, the old comedy shows that I grew up with. Absolutely, I grew up with. And if I'm feeling a bit low, I do go back to those happy films or happy series, you know, those silly comedy series that we used to watch, and it still makes me laugh all these years later. It still makes me laugh.
That's fantastic, and it brings you back to a place in your childhood where you remember these things. I mean, I remember, you know, on a Saturday there was all the black and white movies, Laurel and Hardy, and it's just daft comedy. It's so funny.
It is. Oh, I can't remember who we were watching the other day. There was something came up the other day. It was an old film, and we switched it on and we said, oh, do we really want to watch this? Anyway, an hour later, we'd watched it. It was something in the 1950s or something. And I said, you know, I remember watching this when I was about 10 or 11. And on a Sunday afternoon, there was always these type of films on a Sunday afternoon. And in the winter, because this is where we are, isn't it? We're in the winter. We can't do a lot of gardening. We can't spend all day out in the garden or walking or whatever. It's too cold. So we have to relate to something that we can do inside. Hello, we've got a couple of people. Well, actually, we've got more than a couple of people watching us at the moment. Hello, I cannot see who you are at the moment. I can see some comments that are coming in, but I can't see who's watching. But good morning, whoever it is, and thank you very much for watching this morning. But yeah, it's a different lockdown that we've got at the moment because we can't get out in the sun, and although we are moving towards the nicer weather and the lighter evenings, we are still in that we can't go out too much.
Do you know what, Jill? You've hit the nail on the head there. This is another important thing to remember. If you think back, every year around this time, this is a time where people struggle anyway. So we've got lockdown on top. You've got to acknowledge that it's normal to feel like this anyway, and you've got that on top. And when you start acknowledging that how you're feeling is normal, that's half the battle. And then you can do something about it. When people start thinking, why am I feeling like this? Why have I got these symptoms? Why is this negativity creeping in? Is this ever going to end? It's normal to feel like that. And when you know you're not alone, it really, really makes a difference. We're all feeling like that. And I think it's important to reach out to others as well. There's lots of different voluntary organisations. There's lots of different people that will help. There's lots of people to talk to at the moment. So, I sometimes feel, especially older people, feel like they don't want to bother anyone. You know, and we all want to help. There are lots and lots of people out there to help. So, there's just so many different things that you can do, and that's just some of them. Another good thing I would say is journaling. Journaling is extremely powerful.
Oh, yes.
So, and often I call that brain dumping as well. It's extremely cathartic. It can be extremely cathartic to get everything written down that's on your mind, because you're taking, it's almost like you're taking all the things that are going on in your head and you're writing them on a bit of paper. Free flow, just write whatever it is. If you can get up and do that first thing in the morning with all the other practices, it's amazing. Writing that down can get that off your mind. It's literally like you're taking it out of your mind and you're putting it on a bit of paper. And sometimes when you do that, you can get the answers to the things that you're looking for as well. So you can use that in your business. You can use that in all sorts of ways as well. It's extremely powerful.
And there are some fantastic journals around, aren't there? I know my friend Dawn Gregory, she's written one, and it's got some wonderful quotes in amongst it all. That if you feel it, so as you get through each page, you've still got these wonderful posts that give you a real good boost. Andrea, Andrea, it was you I was talking to on Monday. I'm so sorry. Was it Monday or Wednesday? The week seems to have just flown by. I can't remember. But thank you so much for joining us today. And you're up very early this morning. But journaling I've heard it works one. It's not something that I have done. However, I know that if I want to get rid of all this stuff, I literally sit at the keyboard and type, and it just empties your head. And then you can look back over the year, can't you? Or back over the week.
Yeah, absolutely. There's just so many things that you could, it's about having, shall we call it, having tools in your tool bag. So that you've got these tools there and you can pull them out whenever you need to use them. It's just about having good strategies, good techniques that you can take out whenever you need them. When you're feeling a bit low, when you feel like your energy levels aren't that great, and just raising your vibration again. So yes, and tapping, I use tapping, so emotional freedom technique.
Oh, do you? I've heard about the tapping. I do believe it works.
It's incredible. It works with the central nervous system, and you're tapping on meridian points. I don't have time to obviously go through the whole procedure, but
you use that as well, do you?
Yes, it's incredibly powerful. It works for anxiety. It works if you're going for an interview. It works for anything you can think of. If you're feeling anxious, you start off tapping on the negative thought, and then you're kind of saying, I love and accept myself anyway. Which, again, some people think, what am I saying? But it's just, because we're not used to talking to ourselves positively. We're not used to it. And again, it's so important that we talk to ourselves positive. Turn your negative language into positive language. So you can kind of go through sort of a ritual, and you tap on various meridian points in your body, and you can take this out and use this as a tool at any time, and it just calms the central nervous system down very, very quickly. Really powerful tool.
Wow. That's amazing. You've brought up some really good points here this morning. So if anybody wants to get in touch with you, Yvonne, obviously they can do it through here, but how would you like people to contact you?
I'll have a website, my business is called theeffectcoaching.co.uk.
Okay.
I'm on Facebook, so that's the Effect Coaching as well. And then I run a private group specifically for women, because I generally tend to work with women, but I'd also work with men if it was specific things. I'm actually doing a hypnotherapy course at the moment, so I'm hoping to get that finished in the next couple of months, and that'll equip me with more things that I can help people with as well. And I've been a social worker for over 20 years, so I'm well working with people. I've done that, work with trauma, substance misuse, all sorts.
That's right. We haven't even gone into your history. It's amazing, your background. Just quickly tell us a little bit about that side of things.
Yeah, so criminal justice, the social work has changed a lot since I qualified. I've been doing it 22 years. I can't believe it's been that long. Time flies. But when I first qualified, I was a generic criminal justice social worker. So I was working with people in prison, people on parole, non-parole, women, and generally the people are sent to us by the parole board or by the courts, and then we work with them to change their offending behaviour. So we run group work programmes, and as I say, we've got specialised teams now. So at one time I would do all that stuff, but now it's specific teams. So I generally work with men. So the court will put someone on an order, and then I'll work with them that period of time doing one-to-one work, and then sometimes I'll go on a group work program. Sometimes I just work on a one-to-one basis, depending. There's so many different ways that we work. We do unpaid work, which is what most people know as being community service. And I work with anybody with minor offences to domestic abuse, sex offenders. So, you know, I'm often dealing with all sorts of very, very complex issues. People that have suffered extreme abuse, extreme trauma, and sometimes it's a lot simpler than that. Sometimes there's just issues that they're currently going through and they just need to be put in a short order, and then you can help them and then they move on their merry way. There are other people that I might get a previous convictions check if I'm writing a court report on someone, and they maybe have a long list of convictions as long as your arm. So it's interesting, it's varied, but it can be challenging at times, as you can imagine.
Yeah, I can't even imagine, actually. I can't even get there. I always find this so interesting because I invite people on to come on as our guests, and there is so much more of the background and the everything of a person than what they first tell me about. So when I invite people on as a guest, they say, oh, I'm a so-and-so. Actually, it's not I'm only a so-and-so. There is just so much background and skills, the skills that have come, and it's almost like the skills that we've had previously, they all sort of gel together to where we are now. And that you've probably got some term for that, but I don't know what it is. I admire you completely. It is.
Thank you.
What you've been doing is amazing. It really is.
Yeah. So I continue to do that part-time and then run my business. I'm saying run my business. I also have another business.
Did you?
I have a property.
You are an entrepreneur.
2005. So right. Yes, I run that too. I need to slow down a bit.
And you've got children at home as well, haven't you?
Children too, yeah. So
you're not homeschooling as well, are you?
Homeschooling, running a property business, running a life coaching business. Luckily with the property rentals, I have a property management company, so they just tend to come to me if there's an issue, and then I'll just say, right, let's get this sorted out. So that's managed quite well.
Yeah. I think that's what you have to do.
Yeah, absolutely. My real passion at the moment is the life coaching, because I feel that anyone that's coming to me to work with me at the moment, and I also have a joint business with someone else. I've just finished a group coaching for women, just done a beta testing course that just finished last night, and the feedback we got was just, my heart was singing, our energy levels were incredibly high. And last week, the women came and they were like, oh, I just feel it's a difficult week. And I think we all felt like that last week. By the end of the session, it was like, whoa, we're up.
Singing.
And your heart just warms up to see how fantastic that is in this time, that you can have a session with someone and they can just be like on fire. It's just incredible.
Yeah, and that is going right full circle back to who you're mixing with and how to keep those energy levels high. Yeah. Marvelous.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm going to pop this video up on YouTube and do all the tags like I normally do, but I will send you the link and you can use it here, there and everywhere.
That'd be fantastic, because I've got a YouTube channel myself, so I could put it on that. That'd be fantastic. Yeah, that'd be lovely. Yeah. But thank you so much for having me on. Really enjoyed the chat today.
It's been really good, and do feel free to when we get the video on the group here, it will come up, but please do feel free to go in and put any links about your business and who you want to contact, anything at all about promoting yourself. That would be fantastic as well. Yvonne, stay on here at the moment, but thank you for joining us today, everyone. I know it's first thing in the morning, and actually maybe a morning one is quite good as well, because I've been doing the afternoon, but maybe the morning is a good one to do. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. I'll catch up with you later, and thank you, Yvonne. That was brilliant.
Thank you.